Good afternoon and welcome to Galactic Soul Healing. I've been in a rush today. I'm just going to get started on this, okay? I'm drawing it as I'm talking about what we're doing. Now, I've been guided to do a spread today which is about returning to your inner heart-centered magic. I've been guided to via being from Sirius to and she's female. She has informed me that there's going to be a return to a time when people were able to tap into their own divine connection to source energy and also their connection to the earth energies, okay, and the magic that comes from that is that because we are literally we are vessels, right, but we can transmit light. Humans can do that, and energy, okay, of a healing nature. So it's to do with heart-centered magic. Right now, the word magic is being used because it kind of encapsulates the effect of it, because it's sort of like it's going to be as if by magic that this stuff is going to start happening. Now, the spread I was directed to do was this, with the heart in the middle, because as we get from the Starseed Oracle and also this guide that was talking to me, your heart is a portal, okay? Your heart is a portal for love, divine love consciousness to come in there, but it's also it's a portal to divine source, but also for you as a portal into your own soul. So it's your own soul. There's a lot of energy and stuff in the heart that people need to kind of work through now, in order to kind of clear the heart, right? To clear the heart, and so the heart can operate in the way that it needs to be, in an optimal way, connected to source and connected to earth energies more so. Right, so as you can probably gather, there's a whole lot of emotional states that we can be in, and emotions that we can hold in our field that prevent our heart from actually doing what it needs to do, okay? In terms of, sometimes it's not, our heart doesn't operate towards others in the way that it should. Sometimes it doesn't even operate towards ourselves in the way that it should, because if it's not connected to source, we don't know what our soul is, and we don't understand that. Okay, we don't have a feeling or a sense grip on that. And also, one of the big things that everyone suffers from, maybe a few people in the world don't, but in terms of our heart connection to the earth, okay, there's a lot of stuff that stops that from happening as well in our lifestyles. Now, so there's going to be, this is not the pen, earth, so I don't know, I'm just doing this at the top of my head as I'm so this is source, as in divine love light consciousness source, earth, a self, others. Okay, so these are the things that really our heart energy needs to be receiving energy from, and also communicating too. There needs to be a two-way thing. This is higher self. This is so your soul self. This is your heart. Okay, obviously, I'm just going to leave that as symbolic because it looks like a symbol of a heart, right? And obviously, the earth energies, the heart needs to connect with. The source energies we need to connect with, and the soul self and others we need to kind of be connecting with in more clearer ways. Okay, now I was going to do an archetypal reading on this, but this is just going to be on the fly. I do want to, I've been particularly resonant to use these animal dreaming cards. Okay, and Isis Oracle, Gods and Titans. Okay, now I've put those in there because I think we'll just have to become apparent as we go along. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about is, when I put the stacks here, it's going to be about how our heart can connect to source. Here it's about how the heart can connect to the earth. Here it's about how it can connect to your soul self and other things like that. Now, and also just let me shuffle as we're going along. I'm trying to really limit this to like maybe a 35-40 minute thing. So I'm just making sure. Yeah, no, that's a card from another stack. So basically it's a case of, these are not the right way up, just shuffling, and really it's what comes up is what comes up. So it's basically just going to be talking about if there are obstacles, and this, if some of this resonates with you, all well and good. If it doesn't resonate, that's fine as well. Okay, I just always like to preempt with that, because it's not like I'm talking to any individual person here. This is a reading for the collective. It's been on my mind for a few days to do this. I've only just been able to get to it, and even then I was a bit strapped for time today. However, I think it's going to turn out the way that it's supposed to. Okay, now I haven't cut the decks yet, but we're just going to request that any Sirian beings of light can come and assist us with this reading, and any other light beings and archangels, and also any other spirit guides would be really great to assist us with the giving of the information and the receiving of this information for today. So it's essentially just it's going to be a 4 stack spread. Okay, so it's not going to be too lengthy, but we usually kind of do mind, body, spirit, but this is I've really been told that there's going to be a return to our ability we will be stepping into. I don't know how far in the future or how recent it's going to be in the future, how soon in the future, but it's really just that thing about this beautiful earth connection that's going to start happening for people, and also source connection, and then there's going to be a beautiful soul connection. People are going to have their own, connect with their own soul a lot more. Okay, now, and also with others, of course, in more ways. Now, let me just cut the decks, and then we will deal these out. Right, now let's go animal dreaming first. Right, so I'm going to go earth, others, source, self. So earth is in front of you. Earth, others, source, soul, self. Okay, we do not need those. Now, going around clockwise. Gee, those cards are quite thicker than quite a bit thicker than the other ones. This cardstock is very thick, the Isis deck, Oracle deck. If you like thick cardstock, that would be the one to get. Now, Gods and Titans we have. And of course there's that little overlay too of, masculine and feminine coming into it. But anyway, let's begin. So basically, your closest to you, front, is going to be the earth connection, others, source, self. So we're going to go earth, okay, which is this one here. Okay, so let's look at and see what Spirit is saying to us about our earth connection, either what's happening to stop it at the moment, what's hindering it, and what we can do to really activate it. Okay, I'm just going to flick these over and just go boom. Okay, communication, angelic self, and inner journeys. Right, let's just pull this a bit closer because I'm kind of breaking my back to reach over. Alignment is one of those things that helps with a lot of things. Straight back, okay. Now, speaking of which, she's actually standing with a very straight back. Okay, so this is about everyone's connection to the earth, their heart connection to the earth, okay? Now, see this one here, communication. Let's go through one by one. That might be logical, mightn't it? This one here, Hermes. It's not number 23. Now, communication. As you know, communication is all about a two-way process, isn't it? So, that's suggesting to me, or we could, that if we're taking that word there with respect to the earth, it means that we actually have to go out into nature where the earth is and actually start communicating with it. Like, seriously. Like, go into your backyard and have a discussion and have a chat with your backyard. You might like to just imagine what it's saying to you. But it's essentially about, or even going out into a forest or somewhere or a park and just even silently communicating to a tree. Just really, maybe just thinking about it, like going, well, you know, how long have you been here and what's it been like for you? And, you know, because trees, it's a shamanic belief that plants and things like that, trees, whatever, there's a type of spirit and there's a type of energy about plants, like, or even things like the beach. Like, you take forests, like the beach, you've got, you know, parks, trees, all that sort of stuff, nature and the earth. So it's also about the ground, about the soil, okay? Excuse me, I've just rushed inside from being out. Now, okay, so part of connecting with something with your heart is about, first of all, establishing some level of respect and acknowledgement, isn't it? Like if you're in a relationship with someone, okay, there's a bit of pre-work that goes on in order to establish that heart connection. Okay, it's a bit of stuff that needs to happen first, and it's the same with your earth connection. It's actually saying, you know, we need to actually do a bit of work and start kind of really connecting to those energies, you know, in various ways. It might be that you just go out and do some gardening, you know, and just kind of meditate, just kind of be with the plants and go, well, I wonder what little bugs live in here, and, you know, stuff like that. Let's go nature next. We'll put the nature in there. Inner journeys. Now, isn't that fascinating? That I'm going to suggest meditate on your life so far and just think about all those times that perhaps you were in nature and how you felt and how you connected with it, because that will help you to bring some awareness into the extent of your appreciation for nature. Like whether you don't give a rat's or whether you are right into it. But the thing is, even if you are in that thing, if you don't really give a rat's about nature, or you're nowhere near it and you just don't feel attached to it, that is an indication to you that if you want to really get your heart activating, you know, it's really a case of trying to find even pictures in books, go to a plant shop. What else could you do? get some photos, get a calendar, start putting some nice pictures up on your wall of maybe rainfalls, waterfalls, rainforests. Watch some movies that have nature in them. Okay, really try and just create a bit of an appreciation for the earth, and the basically that it supports life. Okay, so for instance, this koala here, like, that's a tree that's growing on the earth, obviously, and these little animals here, these as an Australian animal, they actually rely on trees to live. So that's not something else to meditate on, is the interconnectedness of the ecosystems of the earth and the planet, on the planet. Okay, so inner journeys, that's all about your inner appreciation of what the earth, how it supports life. I mean, I think some of the ancient cultures kind of had it a little bit more sussed in terms of, respect for the earth, honestly. Right, so let's go to Isis. Now, wings of Isis uniting with the angelic self. Now, do you know what this means? This means that in order to unite with your angelic self, you must connect to the earth. Because you need to avail yourself, you need to utilize the energies of the earth. You must ground yourself. By that, I don't mean get depressed, like lying on the ground, like down on the ground, okay? The earth has a very high frequency of energies that you can utilize, that your whole physical energetic body needs to utilize. Okay, because we're raising in frequency, the earth is raising in frequency. We need to be raising our frequency with the earth. Okay, and we really need to be in contact with it, because like I've said before, the more you can ground, the easier it is really for you to ascend in consciousness. So it's essential for your angelic self to actually get in touch with the earth. Okay, because if you don't ground and get in touch with the earth, you may. I'm not saying that everyone that doesn't will experience more dissociative issues, but it certainly helps, goes a long way towards preventing why should I say it, very ungrounded mental states that don't make you feel settled and centered in yourself, particularly if you're having emotional overwhelm. Okay, getting grounded on the earth is really awesome to help with settling emotions, to feeling a little more calm, right? I mean, I literally had, like, in my life in the past, I've had real, like, either anxiety or confusion or whatever, and I just sat under a tree. I literally almost hugged that tree, and you know what? It was there for me. It's just awesome. There were people in my life then, but for some reason the nature was particularly comforting. There's something energetic about it that affects us in a positive way. So this is the connection to the earth, okay? Right, now I moved that here, so that was there, right? Now, we're going to be going around to others, which is this one. So we'll end up with soul self at the end, but we're going to be doing others now. So this is the thing about your heart space, how you can connect to others more easily. Okay, because remember, our heart is a portal. Okay, this is just awesome. Grace. Black swan, grace. Now, isn't that interesting that that's a black swan? Because even if you're feeling like in a dark mood, you can still do that with grace, believe it or not. Let's see what else we've got. But being grace in terms of being in a place of acceptance of others, forgiveness of others, compassion for others. Okay, that's all encapsulated in grace, and that really helps with your heart space to just shift your heart space in terms of thinking about others from maybe a critical or judgmental standpoint, or a negative standpoint, or like, oh, poor them, and victim, whatever. It's really to just kind of put some grace in it, now let's go this one. Skill. That is Lu, skill. Now I think it's Norse. Yeah, I think there's Norse god. Now, with regard to others, I guess it's going to take a little bit of skill. Now, the skill I'm going to suggest is really to do with your ability to really tap into your own feeling states and really try and understand what's going on with them, why you're feeling a particular way, and really kind of doing some self-care and self-nurturing, and getting some real self-care skills on board, so that you can really look after your own heart space, so that then you're going to be able to just be there for others, just as in natural kind of way, and also with grace. Okay, so isn't that interesting? Grace and skill are two things that will really help to be there for others in terms of your heart space. Now, this is interesting. Stay true and be in your power. That's also awesome, because it's sort of saying, particularly in this position here, is if you can be true to yourself, okay, true to yourself in an emotional way, guess what you're going to be a whole lot better at? Connecting with others from your heart space. Because if you are down on yourself and you're feeling like you're a sham, or like you can't really do what you want to do, and you're just complaining all the time, guess how much you can be there for others? Not that much, really, in an authentic, heartfelt, heart-centered way. So they're saying, really, to be there for others in a truly heart-centered way, you need to look after number one, yourself. Because if you don't, you are really just kidding yourself. You can put on a mask and pretend that everything's hunky-dory, but people see through that, okay, because it comes through in your tone of voice, in pacing, in little things that you don't say as well as things that you do say, okay, and in facial expressions, body language. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes on that really betrays people. It actually gives away their real feelings, what's going on inside with themselves. And other people feel that, okay? So it's much better to just go, okay, take stock of yourself and just go, look, am I absolutely really happy in my life? Am I fulfilled? No. Actually, I'm friggin' miserable, and what am I going to do about it? Because if you stay friggin' miserable, guess how much you can be there for others properly in your heart space? You can't, because you're not even in your own heart space. So this is really powerful suggestion. It's not selfish, because of course you still got to go through the motions and look after other people, but it's really just putting yourself in the mix as well and going, look, I actually need to do A and B to take care of my heart space so that I can be there for X and Y. Okay? That's all it is. It's just self-care and love, right? Self-love. Now, that was others. So just a quick recap. So grace, skill, okay, and part of that skill is being able to tap into what your feeling states are and being able to navigate and manage so that you can have a little bit of time for yourself. I seem to say this a lot, but it's to do with what the cards coming up. It's saying stay true. It's saying stay true to yourself. Okay, and that's going to help with heart connection with others. It does. Like, believe me, it does. Now, source. So, how to connect to source. Okay, we're going good for time today. This is awesome. Now, Right. Oh my God, folks. Remember I said at the start, this is like returning to, is there going to be a return to your inner heart-centered magic? Raven. Magic! Ah! Oh my God. So sorry for doing that. Now look, Garuda. Travel. That can mean also journey. And a lot of people consider themselves to go on a soul journey to learn how to connect to source. Because sometimes it's as much about connecting with yourself, connecting to your authentic self, as it is about connecting to source. Because as soon as you start to connect into your authentic self, sorry, I'm going to sneeze, authentic self, and become more true, staying in your power, okay, you automatically, your higher self that already is connected to source, automatically starts filtering down in and making its presence known to you in quite gentle, beautiful ways. You just got to be listening for it. Okay? And hence the travel. That could even just be like alluding to like meditation. Right, so Raven, magic. I can't believe that. That is so awesome. That's awesome. So it's going to be as if it's going to feel quite magical when it starts happening. When you start connecting to your higher self and to source. It does change your outlook a little bit, okay? For the better. Now, this says, truths unveiled, the revelation of Isis. Truths unveiled. And you know what the truth that's going to be unveiling is? Probably pretty much just that thing I said, is that when you start tapping into your higher self, okay, the truth that becomes unveiled to you is that, hey, I am connected to source and I can really perceive that. That is the truth. That is a truth that will become unveiled to you. But you know what? There's probably a whole lot of other truths that will become revealed to you about yourself that you currently are not aware of. And it's just awesome. Once you start doing this, staying true to yourself, and this says be in your power. Now, that's really saying try not to allow others to disempower you, okay? But the main thing here is to really stay true to yourself. And that's hard. It's actually a hard thing to do, okay? This is why it is a journey, okay? It's a real learning soul journey to learn how to be true to yourself, because you need to find out who you are deeply, authentically, and what you're really about, and, you know, in your soul, not just as in not just in your roles that you've been taken on in life in order to survive and to get through. Certainly those things those experiences feed into your character, okay, but essentially you are a being of light, okay, which puts things in a different light. So, you're a being of light, okay. It's a different perspective, okay. Because often what our soul is authentically about can be something that's a bit similar to what we've been doing with our lives in a conscious way, but sometimes it can be something quite different and quite original and quite new and quite more, maybe a bit more spiritual than what you have been doing. So isn't that awesome? Like, you know, this is how, like, basically to do with our connection to source, okay, we just really need to kind of, I think that Spirit's kind of saying that we've really just got to accept that, you know, magic is kind of real. Like, magic can kind of happen, right? Rather than just being, oh, that's a load of kafooey, it's a little bit going, you know what, if you want to experience something magical, learn about your soul and you've experienced a source connection, and it will be. And the other thing is, of course, accept it as a bit of a journey. Like for you to come into full experience and acknowledgement of the reality of this, it's going to take time. It's going to require you to go on a journey, and more like an inward journey, but of course dealings with others, not necessarily going overseas, which we can't really do at the moment anyway. But this is also referring to travel, so it's traveling in your consciousness. And the other thing is the revelation, the truth unveiled. So it's also saying be prepared for things to come to light that you weren't quite aware of about yourself. And if they are unpleasant things, don't worry about it. Okay? And if they are really awesome things, well, that's awesome too, because usually they both go along with each other. Usually there's, if you get an insight about yourself that's not that positive, usually either soon after or pretty, around that time, you also get some positive insight as well about yourself, or about your capacity, or about your spiritual nature, okay, which is really lovely. And you start perceiving that you are a magical being. I did a video a while back on the fact that our consciousness is magical, okay? But like I said, this spirit guide actually said to me, we're returning to that, okay? It's a big return. Now, this is soul self. So that's the things to keep in mind when you're connecting to source, which we just looked at. This is helping you connect to your soul self, which kind of filters into the one we just said as well. Now, this is actually probably depicting an obstacle that we are going to experience as we begin that journey on trying that little thing of connecting with our higher self, or our soul self, okay? And of course, that is scary because it's unknown, okay? It's literally like, it's a little bit like not facing the void, but, dark night of the soul, the void, the bottom of the well, experiencing maybe a little bit of chaos in there, whatever. But everyone's experience of it is different, okay? But it's usually requires some effort. Let's see what else we've got here. Okay. Confidence. Achilles, who is a Greek god, I believe. Who was Garuda? I think he's a Hindu one we just had. Sorry, that was Garuda we just had. Hindu god. So it's really saying take confidence from the fact that your higher self is actually your friend. Okay, even though at times it may seem like it's something that you don't know what it is, and that sometimes it might make requests of you that are not that do not sound very agreeable to the ego. So basically, if your higher self says, well, I think maybe you need to do such and such, and the ego goes, what? I don't have time for that. I'm not doing that. Or, that's a waste of time, isn't it? Just have confidence, and try and engage in dialogue. Like if your ego ego's a little bit like, it likes to be in pain and it likes to sabotage stuff, okay? So this is common, everyone has this, right? It's totally normal. So if that voice starts coming in, just kind of have a little bit of confidence. Just go, well, okay, ego, I think we might have to make a little discussion date time to have a little chat about this. And then just go in your room one night and just write some stuff out. Literally write, your ego statement, this is a crock of bull, whatever, and then go to your higher self statement, which says, so this is part of the skill that we mentioned before. The skill is really to intuit and kind of go in there and just recognize when you are having an internal conflict. if you're having an internal conflict about something, or you're really confused about something, it's good practice sometimes to actually go and do some written dialogue. Try and move yourself from one point of view to the other point of view, and just kind of keep writing in that way. Okay, so ego says da da da, higher self says da, da. You might have to take a minute in between to just kind of breathe and just kind of go, okay, so now I'm replying as my higher self is saying this now. Okay, and just see what happens. Of course, it's good to perhaps see a therapist too. I mean, if you said something like, I'm feeling a bit conflicted, I've got this and that going on, I really can't make a decision. But usually, if it's about self-care stuff, you'll probably work that out, what you need to do. Okay, but there's certainly no harm in seeing a therapist. Okay, it's actually a really good idea. Or chat to a really a good friend that's a good listener, not someone that's going to tell you what to do every 5 seconds. Now, so we're on connecting to your soul self. Wow, this is awesome. Oh my God. Power over 7 scorpions. Power to conjure lower vibrational forces. So you know what that means? This is the lower vibrational force right here, folks. This is the fear that stops you from connecting to your soul higher self. Okay, but it's saying here that don't worry, you can be confident, because you actually have the power to overcome those negative forces. So I'm gathering that this is, of course, is an Egyptian thingy here. 7 scorpions, power over them suggests to me that the 7 scorpions are kind of either negative forces or something that's sort of potentially poisonous, and something that's going to affect you in negative ways. Okay, so I mean, yeah, so you could probably you could even perhaps identify a couple of things in your life or within yourself that really are sabotaging your own connection to your higher self. Because if you can start even just loving the fact that you have a higher self, just kind of, you can even do a heart meditation. Okay, but it's really love that overcomes fear, and that's actually a biblical scripture, by the way. The only thing that overcomes fear is love, right? And this is probably why I've been directed to actually do this spread with the heart in the middle. Because no matter what, even if you're going through challenges with any of these connections, all you need to do is just really say to yourself, I love me, or I love you, but you're talking to yourself, saying, I love you. I love you anyway, no matter what. I still love you. Okay? If you want to look at some YouTubes on that, I'm just going to mention Matt Kahn in here, because he's been doing a lot of years of his campaign is it's either All for Love or Love is the Answer. I think there's a book he's written, but M-A-T-T, first name, Kahn is his last name, K-A-H-N. Go on YouTube, and it's got a lot of really good tips about how you can shift yourself into more self-love, self-care. Okay, you might have to look through a whole lot of the YouTube videos that he's done to find some. Okay, but yeah, so this is just amazing. And look at that, it's just amazing, isn't it? Like, basically, this connection with the soul self, it's kind of saying that a lot of people are very resistant to it and they have fear around it. Okay, because the other thing too is that our higher self, that real beautiful connection, is actually repressed in our subconscious, because we are in a state of not remembering when we don't perceive that higher self. Okay, when we can't perceive it, we're not remembering it, and it's subconscious, and this is why there's fear attached to it, because anything we've been taught, really conditioned to believe that anything that's subconscious, that we can't consciously think about, we shouldn't be trusting, and we're not going to go there, folks. If you want to see another video on subconscious, you can look at, I think I've done a couple of videos on subconscious. So I don't know, there might be some useful tips in there. I did them a while back, forgot the exact content. But you can certainly go, see a therapist about that too, especially a transpersonal therapist or a psychotherapist that will help you deal with subconscious stuff. And it's just beautiful, though, that this confidence is here, because it's almost like we can still be confident in the face of fear, and if we can do that, then we're going to be able to overcome these negative forces, okay, that may have been around, hanging around within us, within our psyche, our consciousness, our field, maybe even since we were children. This is the picture of a child here, and it's that it can be stuff from childhood, basically, because little children are actually quite connected to this, because they have they can experience a lot of they can go out in nature and go, wow, and they're just one with everything that's going on, okay? But unfortunately in our, I don't know what it's to do with culture or lifestyle or whatever, but we seem to disappear, we seem to be coerced into removing ourselves from earth connection. Well, some of us more than others, whatever, you can sense that for yourself. We also kind of cut off from source to some extent, and we're also cut off from our higher self. And really what we're focused on in modern day life is really, it's all about how we connect with other people, our heart. But our heart is a lot bigger than that. It can do a lot more things, okay? And this is what I've been told, is that once we start having these other connections, okay, our heart is going to be a portal, and it's going to be magical. This one. And it's going to be a return to everyone. It's going to have like more inner love, inner magic happening, okay? And it's going to be awesome. And this is going to be overcome, and just have confidence that you can do it. And it's awesome. And anytime, if you need information, Google it. And also, I guess I'm going to say, if you've got any questions or you want tips about how you can get help with any of this, leave questions below, and I will do my utmost. I'll do some research and see if I can answer them. If they're kind of crazy, like really weird questions, like that are not actually relevant, sorry, I won't answer them. But if they're kind of on topic, about connection, how you're going to get the connection, or maybe something you've tried that hasn't worked or whatever, let me know, and I might be able to just suggest or point you in a direction of maybe like a course or a speaker, because I've only just started doing stuff. There's been people around that have done a lot more than me, but I guess I'm like an intuitive, which I haven't actually said that yet. But that's part of my connection to higher self, is actually admitting that, which I do admit now. So, yeah, but I'm a transpersonal therapist, transpersonal art therapist, and I'm a qualified energy healer, and also I've been a personal trainer. So I've done a few things, so I might be able to help out. Anyway, best of luck with everything, and I hope that's been informative. Yeah. And we're going to wrap it up there. Okay, 43 minutes, not too bad. Thanks for listening. Bye.